Hello, North Central Washington, and welcome to our show, Networked. I'm your host, Jenny Rojanasatian, and on today's episode, I'm delighted to introduce you to one of the premier agriculture companies in the Pacific Northwest, Stemilt Growers. Stemilt is a local family-owned company that grows, packs, and markets fruit to be distributed worldwide. Owned and operated by the Matheson family since 1964, Stemilt has been a leader in the true fruit industry and our community since then. In 2021, our nonprofit NCW Tech Alliance honored Stemilt with a Legacy Innovator Award for their innovative use of technology and continuous improvements in agriculture and technology over the years. Joining me in the studio today is Brianna Shales, Marketing Director for Stemilt Growers. After this brief commercial message, I'll sit down with Brianna to kind of go behind the scenes of Stemilt Growers and share more about their company with all of you. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Networked. I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Brianna Shales with Stemilt Growers. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Really excited to sit down with you. Stemilt is a busy company with a lot of operations happening, and I can't wait for the audience to learn more. But first, I would love for the audience to learn a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure.
Yeah, this is our first time meeting each other. So are you a local? Did you grow up here?
I did not grow up here,
Okay.
but I was just telling someone the other day that I feel like I've actually almost lived here longer than the place that I've grown up.
Yeah.
So I feel maybe I'm like a local now.
Right.
But no, I grew up on the west side of the state near Bellingham in a small community, and then went to Washington State University.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Also a Coug.
Yeah,
Okay.
and studied communications there.
Okay.
So when I got done with school, I had a great internship in the College of Agriculture, and they were like, how can we help you find a job? So I was able to make some connections within the true fruit industry, and at that time, Stemilt was hiring 2 people in marketing. So I found out I got the job the day after graduation, and which was very good timing because it was about 6 months before the economy took a tank. So I was very grateful to have a job, and then started off as a communications person there and have just kind of grown into my role today as a marketing director. So it's really fun. We do all of the external marketing for Stemilt, and just every day's different, and that's what we really love about it. So
14 years with the company now?
Yeah.
14 years with the company.
Yeah.
And I mean, Stemilt continues to grow, innovate, and adjust as technology's changed and the industry's changed. So I'm sure you've seen a lot just in those last 14 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in our world, marketing is constantly evolving, but for the company too. I mean, we've gone from, like very manual labor and jobs like that to a lot of automation and technology powering our packing lines. And so it's been a huge evolution just in 14 years, and it goes by really fast because of that.
Yeah. Now, Stemilt, I would say most locals, or even those who have now call themselves local, I'm one of them. I moved here 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider myself a local, even if I wasn't born here. Know the Stemilt legacy and what an amazing family the Matheson family is and what they've done for the community. But there's still so many people moving to the area or watching online. Tell us a little bit about Stemilt as a company.
Yeah. Well, Stemilt's a family-owned company, which I think is really, special and unique in our world of, growing, packing, and shipping tree fruit. Mm-hmm. So the Matheson family homesteaded 160 acres up on Stemilt Hill near Wenatchee back in the early 1900s. And, there's always this talk about like, how did they get the trees there and how did they have that foresight? But it was really about the land. Like the land was just so perfectly suited to grow fruit that it made a lot of sense. And so they were farmers first, and then really in the 1960s decided to go into the packing and marketing side of the business in order to have better control over the quality of the fruit. That was really the founder's passion, is how can I make this an amazing experience for the consumer? Because ultimately that's going to drive back to the land and ensure that, that all levels of the business are profitable. So
And let's pull that apart a little bit, because for those who may not know much about the tree fruit industry, there's several stages of the process, and very few growers can manage all of them, right?
Yeah.
From inception and the development of the orchards all the way to getting it in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So what does that look like for, a lot of growers in the community, or that control you talked about that Stimelt decided to invest in and do the full package?
Yeah. So we are vertically integrated, which means we are, we have the product from the beginning, which means, growing the trees and the fruit that grows on them all the way until the end shipment to the retailer. So it just requires a lot of coordination and communication among teams. And, we have a lot of people, luckily, that have been doing this for a long time and understand the industry and its cycles, and just a lot of people working really hard to get all of that together at one point.
I can only imagine the different systems you have to navigate in order to get that cherry off the tree into a grocery store. There's a lot of processes along the way, but you do that for other farmers or and growers as well, right? Stimelt is packing and distributing fruit for many orchardists.
Yes. Yeah. So there's independent growers that entrust us with their fruit. There's also, we farm acres for, various groups. And so it's basically off of leases or partnerships that way. And then the company or the family have their own orchards as well.
So tell me a little bit about what products Stimelt has.
Yeah. So we grow apples, pears, cherries, and stone fruits, which are peaches, nectarines, and apricots. We're a really big organic supplier in the industry, which is, again, directly attributed to the grower's ability to farm organically, and then the climate. Without our arid climate, we wouldn't be able to farm organically very well or easily. Stimelt is home to several proprietary items, which is very common in our industry today, but we really try to lead on, growing the best new varieties flavor-wise, so that we can have that great consumer experience.
And a new variety that came to the market recently was the Cosmic Crisp, which has been really exciting. Yeah. It's a delicious apple if you've not tried it. But the development of the Cosmic Crisp, I understand too, just very high level, is also in partnership with WSU. And there's a lot of research and innovation going on behind the scenes in this industry.
Yeah. So Stimelt has a full-fledged R&D department, so research and development, where we have a team of people, whether they're out in the field or in a lab environment, that are working to test, develop new varieties, see if they have that commercial viability. And then from there, we do a lot of work on how long can we store it, or what does it do when it's in storage, so that we can have a great experience. So we were, instrumental in developing Cosmic Crisp and are one of the leading growers of it today. And so, it's exciting for the industry to have an apple that eats so well and also, performs well at all levels of our area, because that's the challenging part when you have something new, is you have to be able to grow it, pack it, and ship it, and delight the consumer at the end as well.
Yeah, and
it checks all the boxes.
Yeah, and storage, you just briefly mentioned earlier too, is I imagine bringing a new product to market, you don't know how long that's going to store or what the food waste is going to look like, and those processes. So this was years in the making, not an overnight product to bring a brand new apple online.
Yeah, it takes about 20 years.
Yeah.
From the initial to actually taking a first commercial crop to market.
So you gotta have patience in the agriculture industry.
Yes. And I think it's the fun part, and it's also like the, hard part, because it's not just like other products where you just press a switch and start making them. Right. I mean, there's a lot of planning and investment that goes into it. And then you're really trying to predict what the consumer's going to want into the future, because you have to plan ahead.
Right. Something that we didn't have on my notes here today, but I just want to touch on, the Tech Alliance, we're so passionate about STEM careers in STEM fields. And agriculture is one of those that has so many pathways in science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yep.
And youth, we need youth to go into those fields so they can support things like long-term innovation and research and development at organizations like STEMelt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our IT department is incredibly large, probably one of the largest in the Valley. And those skills are critical to our operations. You know, they have to run very complex systems to make sure that our lines continue to run, that everything flows together in order to get, you know, a truck on the road quickly with our product. So it's, you know, and that's just one layer. There's technology that's needed in all parts of our job, especially as we've evolved into, you know, remote work and just a lot of different things. It's constant and always on the tip of our
and
toes.
20 years from now will look even, you know, even more integrated into all of the processes.
Yes.
So building those skills now. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about technology and innovation, but we do have to head out to a break. So don't go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have been chatting with Brianna Shales with STEMelt Growers about the history of STEMelt and a little bit about technology and innovation. I'd like to move now into kind of some big innovations that you've had the last couple of years. One is the Fresh Cube Distribution Center.
Yes.
What is the Fresh Cube Distribution Center?
Well, if you haven't seen it, it actually is, you know, a long part of Highway 97A as you head towards Chelan out of Wenatchee. So big STEMelt sign on the building. But what that is it's a distribution center. So our one-stop place for shipping and, you know, doing quality control and shipping of our fruits. So everything from our packing lines gets transferred over to or conveyed over to the distribution center. And then that's where we have some, you know, what we would call STEMelters, our little aisle robots that are actually moving product into placement for trucks to come in and get loaded quickly off of a forklift.
So you've been able to automate and use robots, artificial intelligence, to kind of move these very heavy loads of fruit.
Yes, pallets of fruit.
Pallets and pallets. So something that would have been obviously using forklifts and other operational tools controlled by a person. Tell us about, you know, why that investment is so exciting for STEMelt. I'm thinking about safety of people and control.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a dream investment for the company because that really came out of a kind of a tragic thing. We had a warehouse fire that then led, you know, the need to reinvest that. And so the distribution center was born out of, you know, just something that we never really thought would be possible, but it's incredibly important to running an efficient operation. So the ASRS, or Automated Storage and Retrieval System, basically what its function is to store and retrieve the pallets of fruit. It can turn inventory during the night when no one's there, lights are off, and it can, you know, move one pallet from a position to another. And really it's helping us become, you know, that state-of-the-art one-stop shop to be able to get trucks in and out on the road quickly.
And I think it's, you know, I guess a little bit well-known. I would say it's well-known. We'll let the fact checkers get me, but like, it's a hard business to be a grower.
Yeah.
And it is a business that's changing so rapidly. So if you're not investing in technology, you might get left behind.
Right.
So it's really critical, excuse me, that we have organizations like STEMelt who are looking to the future because we want to see our region be successful.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a necessity too, right? And then, you know, you spoke about the safety in the workplace and ensuring that, you know, whatever the next generation looks like, we're preparing them through technology. Yeah. And so a lot of, you know, while we don't use forklifts to move some of that product now, doesn't mean we don't have forklift drivers, but it also means now we have people that are having to operate computer systems to help power that technology.
So higher technical skills that they're learning along the way.
Exactly.
Which likely leads to better wage jobs and, a more prosperous future. Let's talk about another way that you've really innovated with technology, and that's the Ultimate Cherry line.
Yes. Yeah.
What is the Ultimate Cherry line?
Well, it's big.
Yes.
It's a big, high capacity cherry line located at our old station facility, so not very far from that distribution center here in Wenatchee. And really, it focuses again a lot on automation. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of packaging. Cherries are all primarily in consumer packaging. And so with the Ultimate line, we're able to utilize technology to automatically package those things rather than doing it manually.
And I imagine cherries are so delicate.
Yes, they are. It's kind of fascinating that, with the optical sizing and sorting technology that's come online over the past few years, it's just amazing that we are using these high-speed cameras to take many, many pictures of a cherry in like a nanosecond, and then relaying that information to a computer to help size and sort it.
So that they can go out the exact package they need to be each individual cherry.
Right, which used to all be done by the human eye.
Right.
And now we're getting to be much more accurate and efficient at doing it through, cameras and computers and all of that fascinating technology.
And then I imagine traceability too has just improved over the years, which is so important when it comes to consumers and food safety, knowing that they can trace that product all the way back through the system.
Yeah. I mean, that's really important. There's a lot of, legal regulation around it that growers of our size and all sizes have to follow. And so it's really helpful to have, technology helping you pack the product efficiently in order to ensure that is a part of it too.
Trying to make your job a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Well, it's talking about responsibility, sustainability and social responsibility is really important to Stemelt. Tell me a little bit more about, about that.
Yeah. Well, Stemelt exists to cultivate people and delight consumers through excellence. So that is our battle cry every single day. And with that, it means making sure that we're doing what we call the responsible choice, which is our sustainability and social responsibility program. Started back in 1989 and was really focused on more the orchard side of the business. But today it's everything from, what are we doing for our people? What are we doing for the planet? And then how are we helping do continuous improvement to ensure that our operations are efficient and, economically viable for the future. So it's really kind of a three-pronged approach, but it involves a lot of cool stuff, whether it's, compost, a big compost farm up on Stemelt Hill, to like solar panels on top of that distribution center. There's a lot of neat elements to sustainability that we've been able to put into our operations.
And sustainability is one of those things that's really come to the forefront probably this last decade, but I love that that's been at the forefront since 1989.
Yeah.
So it's not a new thing that you're trying to slide in. It's just part of the core at Stemelt.
Yeah, and I think the social responsibility side is so important. Like, we are really focused right now through this great resignation that's happening on ensuring that we are cultivating people. So providing people with education opportunities to improve their skills, whether that's, helping train people into CDL drivers or helping people learn Microsoft Teams, because that's the platform that we utilize. Like, there's a lot of different things that our human capital team is doing to ensure that we can meet that level of excellence into the future.
Let's talk about the education piece.
Yeah.
That's also been a really important pillar, and you've supported education in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, that was kind of another core part of our founder's philosophy. He really believed in education. They did a lot of work at Mission View Elementary over the years, because that was kind of their backyard elementary school. But today it's broadened so much under the new generation, West and Tate, and their leadership. So we are a huge sponsor of the Washington Apple Education Foundation, which is basically providing college scholarships directly to kids in agriculture.
A really amazing nonprofit
and
foundation. Yes.
So that's, a big part of our education giving. And then within the company, that's a huge theme right now, because how can we help people learn new skills? We're going through a big software transformation that will help change how we work as an entire enterprise.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of like upskilling so that we can learn how to use that new software when it comes online. Yes.
So from community giving to internal team processes and sharing, that's really incredible. We do have to wrap up here, but I know you've got a lot of open positions at Stemilt.
Yeah, we do.
So speaking of if you want to become part of the Stemilt family.
I think it's such a special place to be. And I think, if people are actively looking for jobs, they go to stemilt.com, they can find some, and they can also go there and just learn about the company and what we do. Like I said, we have such a unique thing in our valley, having fruit in our world. And I think it's just amazing that we can help share that story with the world.
And you also have an incredible local store,
yes,
too.
We do.
So if you have not tried a Stemilt product, go check that out as well.
Yeah, they have the biggest ice cream scoops in town.
Perfect.
Just saying.
I might head over there next. Brianna, thank you so much for coming on air with me today. It's been such a joy to have you. And thank you again for joining us this week on Networked. We'll see you next week at the NCW Live Studio.
Since 1999, NCW Tech Alliance has served as our regional hub for technology innovation. As a 501c3, their nonprofit mission is to connect people and technology resources to create a thriving community. You can network with the team and guests from today's show by visiting them at www.ncwtech.org.